Hey folks, I'm going to show you how I make my guacamole using just a few simple ingredients, keeping it as spicy and tasty as you want. First off, we go with 4 number 48 avocados, size-wise, and I'll show you what that is. I use garlic, salt, black pepper, chili powder, 1 onion, a can of the diced tomatoes and onions, and cilantro to taste. Now I want to show you what a number 48 avocado is. Let me get my scale here and show you what that is. Fruit specs are by the California Fruit Growers Association. So this is 9.2 ounces. This would put us at a number 48 avocado size, and they get bigger than that, and this is the Hass size that we're using. So let me get this set up and show you how we make, or I make, really quick and tasty guacamole. All right, to get started, first thing I do after washing down the avocado, I like to cut them into slices, and I do that so that I can get all the meat off the skin on the inside. Look at that beautiful avocado. This is a Hass avocado, grown in Mexico. We'll just save the seed there. What I like to do is just cut them into slices like this. And then when I peel them, and you'll see why I like to do this when I season them. When I peel them, I get everything off the skin there. There's nothing left there that we'll have to worry about scraping off. So what we'll do is we'll throw those into the container. I won't show you me cutting 4 avocados down, but that's how I like to get my avocado into the container. And you'll see why, again, like I said, when we season them. Okay, I've got all the slices cut, and I put them in a big stainless steel container here. And the reason I do this is the way I like to season these. I go over them once. We're going to start with the garlic salt. And why I do this and why I do it is one time over, the way I do this seems to get me the right salt and garlic content. So I'll start on one end and just sprinkle across. Then we'll go to black pepper, do the same thing. Obviously you can pepper it to taste. And then I add a little bit of chili powder to get the bite that I like. I do that a little lighter. You can do this to taste too. And then what we do is we will mash those together and then add the onion and the diced tomatoes and the cilantro. Coming back with the masher, why I do this, that way I push everything through the avocado, coming through, and I get all the seasonings through the avocado the way I want. And I don't get it too creamy in this step. I leave it in those little 1/4-inch chunks that you get out of these. That allows me to mix in the other ingredients. And then I use a spoon, basically, to finish up with all the ingredients in the bowl. So after this step, we're going to add onions, the diced tomatoes and chilies, and then a little bit of lime juice and cilantro. We'll come back and show you that. Now, after cutting the onion into small little squares, we have lime here that I got out of the garden and cilantro. And I don't like to use all the tailings of I call them the tailings, but of the cilantro. So I get all the leaves here and just cut these into real fine pieces. And I like to break these and get them cut down into real small pieces. Releases the fragrance, adds a ton of flavor. Obviously, onions and cilantro are going to be to your taste. But as we're cutting them here, I'll use a few here as garnish when we're done. But as we're cutting, I like to get them really small. break up all the flavor and get that smell. If you can smell it, you got some good fresh cilantro. And like I said, these are going to be to taste. But when I use 4 tomatoes, I like to use 1 onion and almost 1 complete finely cut cilantro. Get our lime. I like to roll the lime a little bit to break up the juices. And I cut them into quarters. I've found that my limes that I grow are a lot juicier than store-bought limes. So now we'll put these together and show you what it tastes like here in a sec. All right, so now we'll add onions. And I do the same thing like I do, this is just my personal preference. I do the same thing like I do when I'm adding the spices. I like to go across and get good coverage. The can of diced tomatoes and chilies, I drain most of the water out. Same thing. And finally, the cilantro. And cilantro is to taste. I know I love cilantro. Not many people do, and more people like onions, and less, you know. So more or less, either way you can go. And then what we'll do is we'll just stir this up. I haven't added the limes yet. I don't add the limes until after I taste this all mixed up. Lime juice preserves the color and adds flavor, and you don't want to over citrus these things, I've found, even though my daughter loves it with more limes and avocado. Most people don't. So let's get a taste here. This is the best part when you're making guacamole, is tasting it. Really close to the way I like it. And by doing those simple little steps as I come over with the spices and everything, we can get really close to the flavor every time using the same amount of avocados. Put in 1/4 lime to begin with here. Usually I'll start with half a lime, mix it, and then taste it. These are 1/4 limes I'm putting in now. So I put half a lime in, do a mix, quick mix. And that's why we also don't really mash down the avocados. I go through one time through the 1/4-inch square grater here, because as you do mix up, they do get a little creamier, and I like a little bit of chunk in it. We'll try it again with the lime. And this is just a thing you can do, just go through and taste it. That's the best part when you're making guacamole. You get to taste it. You can now taste the lime. I'm going to go and add a little more. Probably not going to add 1 more 1/4 of a lime, but depends on how juicy they get. The store-bought limes are not as juicy as your homegrown stuff, I've found, at least with mine. And pretty much, that is it. Quick and dirty, very flavorful, and very consistent every time you make it when you use the techniques that I use. I mean, it's consistent when I make it. Everybody is different. Everybody's going to leave a comment, hey, that's not how I do it. Well, you know what? This is how I do it. Never said it was how you did it. So we'll dress it up for you and show you what it looks like. Well, there we are. That's how I make quick guacamole consistently. And you can do it in small batches or large batches. I just do it in a 3 or 4 avocado batch every time, just to keep the taste under control where I can really control it. I still have of that 1 onion. I still have about half that onion left that you can add if you like. We used 3/4 of a lime. We still have the 1/4 here. Again, cilantro and lime is to taste. But thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up on the comments and I'd be happy to answer them for you. But anybody can make this. Once again, Scott, the Elsinore Gardener. Talk to you soon.